Yes, I saw all that happening, and that is part of the reason that I felt the need to run.
But reason is, as a city council, there was a division, there was no work, there was investigations, there were firing, and there was so much happened in the city of Brampton.
Yeah. I'm thinking that yes, I think he did some good things. For this very last term, though, there are a lot of things that maybe he wanted to do that didn't get done because of all the infighting that was happening in the city. There was the issue of him being one of the persons who actually went contrary to the municipal act when they hired Elaine Moore, and they were all charged and so on with that offense. I was advised that one of the reasons he's running was that he has a building that he wants to put up a particular area in Ward 3, and there's some confusion about whether or not that will be approved, and he wants to make sure that he is in council so that he will be able to ensure that his building permits get approved and he gets the building that he wants.
How do you see the leadership of Mayor Brown?
I have heard some things that are not positive and other things that are positive about him. Overall, it would have been, I think, better if there weren't those divisions. I think it's possible that some of those divisions could have been caused by himself. Other things could be personality issues. Yes, indeed, I agree with you on all of those points. Just to walk through, for instance, downtown Brampton, you'll see the extent of homelessness. There's a lot of issues with substance abuse and mental health issues. Well, I am opposed to nepotism in all of its various forms. So at the end of the day, when you get to the level of the city council, your job is to represent the city as a whole, not just your friends and your family.
स्वागत है प्राइम एशिया ते असी ब्रैम्पटन वोट्स 2022 असी सैगमेंट कर रहे हैं और नो योर कैंडिडेट ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਉਣ ਤੋਂ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਰਡ 'ਚ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਹੈ ਸਿਟੀ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਰੀਜਨਲ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਬੈਸਟ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਵੀ ਆ ਨਾ ਕਰੀਏ ਕਿ ਆ ਸਾਡਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਣੀ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੈਸਟ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੂੰ ਚੂਜ਼ ਕਰਕੇ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਈਏ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਮੀਦ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਰਕ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਸਾਡੇ ਮੁੱਦਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਜ ਸ਼ੋਅ 'ਚ ਮੌਜੂਦ ਹੈ Cleopatra Gooden-Simms ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਹੈ ਸਿਟੀ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਦੇ ਵਾਰਡ 3 ਐਂਡ 4 ਤੋਂ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਵਾਬ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ Cleopatra, welcome to Prime Asia.
Thank you very much for having me today.
To start with, if you can give your introduction to our viewers.
Thank you. My name is Cleopatra Gooden-Simms and I'm running as a Brampton City Councillor for wards 3 and 4. I am excited about running. I saw some issues that were happening in Brampton City Council and Brampton in general, and I wanted to make a difference. I'm here today and I'm standing as a City Councillor candidate because I wanted to see how I could apply my years of experience, 25 years of experience, my educational training, and also my empathy for things that I've seen happening in Brampton, and see how I can apply those things to my fellow citizens in Brampton.
And what is your profile as a profession, what you do?
Okay, so I'm presently working as a program manager and legal worker with the provincial government, and I'm a trained teacher. I am trained in law, I'm trained in management, I'm trained in business. I'm also a certified human resources leader, and all these things are things that I can apply to the post so that I can be an effective person in that position.
Cleopatra, we'll start with the issues because you must be aware what's happened in Brampton for last couple of months, couple of years. There is so much of division in the council
Yes.
meetings never happened. Did you had a knowledge of that? Did you watch everything?
Yes, I saw all that happening, and that is part of the reason that I felt the need to run, because I really was perturbed by all those things that were happening. For instance, where persons who were elected, to run our city weren't turning up for meetings, or there was a lot of division, there was a lot of, backstabbing, and there was a lot of, just a generally toxic working environment. And with that happening, the things that were supposed to be helping the people of Brampton were not getting done. And that's why I said, for this particular term, I'm going to be running because I know that I could do a much better job. And, with my training and my experience, I knew that, I'd be able to address the concerns of my fellow Brampton citizens.
The incumbent, we won't say incumbent because the Jeff Bowman, who is a city councillor from Ward 3 and 4, he is not a candidate this time. He is not running. He served 8 years.
Yes.
2 terms he served as a city councillor and he did a good, amazing job. That's what the residents of that ward give the feedback. But reason is, as a city council, there was a division, there was no work, there was investigations, there were firing, and there was so much happened in the city of Brampton.
Yes.
What do you think in your ward as a city councillor candidate, whom you think is a tough fight with any other candidate? Do you think any strong candidate in that?
So let me start by just touching a little bit on Jeff Bowman before we even proceed. I'm thinking that, yes, I think he did some good things. For this very last term, though, there are a lot of things that maybe he wanted to do that didn't get done because of all the infighting that was happening in the city. For instance, you know, he was one of the persons who was not able to, or was not attending the meetings that would have made decisions about Brampton. And also, there was the issue of him being one of the persons who actually went contrary to the Municipal Act when they hired Elaine Moore, and they were all charged and so on with that offense. About 5 or so of those past members of council. In terms of the people that I think are strong candidates, I consider everyone to be fair competition. However, I stand above the other candidates in the sense that I have the experience, based on the fact that I work with the government, I know how to get things going in government. I have very good interpersonal skills. I've been told that I can work with anyone, and that's one of the things that I think is needed for this job. At the end of the day, we are there as public servants. We can't be allowing the divisions that are happening with different personalities and personality clashes. My intention as a public servant is to serve the people. And if I'm elected to serve the people, that is exactly what I'll be doing. I will not be getting into the squabbles and the problems that are being caused by, people and their different personalities. My intention, I'll be focused wholeheartedly on representing the people. And then just to speak a little bit about some of the other candidates, I was actually reliably informed that one candidate in particular, one of the reasons he's running was that
John Sanderson? Okay.
Yes, John Sanderson. I was advised that one of the reasons he's running was that he has a building that he wants to put up a particular area in Ward 3. And there's some confusion about whether or not that will be approved. And he wants to make sure that he's in council so that he will be able to ensure that his building permits get approved and he gets the building that he wants. My intention is solely to serve the people of Brampton. There are other candidates, for instance, that are running who have not had any experience whatsoever with government. There's another candidate, actually about 2 or 3 of the candidates who don't actually reside in Brampton. And so, they're probably, I'm not sure if they're thinking that Brampton is an easier place to win at. Okay.
But do you live in Brampton?
Yes,
do
absolutely.
Do you live in the same ward?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, I do.
So you say out of 6 candidates, 2 candidates, they don't live in that ward or in Brampton?
Yes. And also, there are other people who are coming in because this is really about self-serving issues that they want to do. My intention is solely to work for the people of Brampton. I was the first candidate to register in wards 3 and 4, and I'm the one who has the most clear-cut vision about how things would be accomplished in my ward. So I see every day the problems that we're having in Brampton, and I want to be a part of that solution. My website is www.Cleopatra Gooden-Simms. My platform areas are outlined on my website, and you can see that I've been going door to door with my constituents or persons that I would like to represent, and I've been hearing their issues, and those issues are represented on the website.
Cleopatra, you said that you have a good experience in the government because you are already working with the government, provincial government.
Yes.
So how you see the leadership of Mayor Brown, because in City Hall everything matters with the vote, because if there are 11 votes, and Mayor Brown said he wanted to work, he wants to work because of that division, because of the council meeting, and there was allegation from both the groups during the council meetings. They missed. How you see the leadership of Mayor Brown? Well,
I've heard some things that are not positive and other things that are positive about him. Overall, it would have been, I think, better if there weren't those divisions. I think it's possible that some of those divisions could have been caused by himself. Other things could be personality issues. So I can't speak to how much of it he's responsible for. But to be honest, I mean, if you are the leader of the group, and one of your responsibilities as leader is to try to get everyone united, and which is actually more reason than if he's not able to unite the persons who are candidates or persons who are now running. Maybe that is more reason to bring in fresh blood, new people like myself who will be able to come in and be able to work for the people of Brampton.
ਜੋ ਕਲੀਓਪੈਟਰਾ ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਰੱਖਾਂਗੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਗੱਲ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਸਿਟੀ ਹਾਲ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਡਿਵੀਜ਼ਨ ਰਹੀ ਇੱਕ ਲੀਡਰ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਯੂਨਾਈਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਟੇਬਲ ਤੇ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਰੀਏ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਗਰੁੱਪਿਜ਼ਮ ਚ ਪੈ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ 'ਚ ਮਡ ਸਲਗਿੰਗ ਕਰੀਏ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਿਟੀ ਹਾਲ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੋ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਉੱਠਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਾ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਵੀ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਸੇਮ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ 'ਚ ਕੰਮ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਬੜਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ ਬੜਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਨਵੇਂ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੌਕਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਏ ਔਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਵਾਬ ਕਰਕੇ ਕੀ ਉਹ ਕੁਆਲੀਫਾਈਡ ਇਨਫ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਸਿਟੀ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ 24 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਨੂੰ ਐਡਵਾਂਸ VOTING 'ਚ ਆਪਣੀ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਣਾ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਲੋ 7 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਤੋਂ ਐਡਵਾਂਸ VOTING ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਣੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਦੀਵਾਲੀ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਕਲੈਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੀਆਂ 24 ਅਕਤੂਬਰ ਨੂੰ ਡੇਟਸ ਸੋ ਐਡਵਾਂਸ VOTING 'ਚ ਆਪਣੀ ਵੋਟ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਾਓ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਿਟੀ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਵਾਰਡ 3 and 4 ਤੋਂ Cleopatra Gooden-Simms Cleopatra if I ask you what do you think few major issues which city of Brampton have there is no industry here there are no jobs here
yes.
People from Brampton they go outside to work if we see the development it's all standstill because we have seen how the city council was working
Yes, indeed. I agree with you on all of those points. You know, just to walk through, you know, for instance, downtown Brampton, you'll see the extent of homelessness. There's a lot of issues with substance abuse and mental health issues. So one of my platform areas would be poverty alleviation. Another one is, of course, crime reduction, because as we have all been seeing, unfortunately, there's been a bit of a surge once again in the crime areas, and one of the things that I would like to do is to try to see if we can address those types of issues that cause crimes in the first place. So for instance, I would start by addressing those types of things that alleviate poverty. In addition to that, you mentioned the whole issue of the lack of industry. Even to be honest, even myself, the base of my current employment is in Toronto, even though I live in Brampton. Fortunately now, because of a lot of us are working from home and so on, but I would want to see more of that happening. And one of my platform areas, I have access to some industry specialists who are willing to come into Brampton and who will be willing to work in Brampton. I've also partnered with a non-profit organization that will be assisting us in terms of housing, and because I've been hearing quite a bit of information from persons who live in the community about how expensive it is sometimes to access housing, and some other persons are talking about the need for enforcement. Other things that I'm concerned about would be, for instance, and a number of persons have said that we need to have a university in Brampton. Students are talking about the lack of jobs, and not just students, but people in general have been speaking about the lack of employment options that are here in Brampton. And I think that by the council getting to work, it's time now to put aside the divisions, it's time now to get to work, time now to address the needs of the people. And I have outlined some areas that I would want to work on, including, for instance, in terms of bringing other industries in, making Brampton be what we call open for business. Mm-hmm. So people will, for instance, if we can bring in some people who have companies that can, we maybe reduce taxes for them or provide them with some sort of, subsidies and so on, so that they will bring some of the jobs back to Brampton.
Got your point, and we have heard that many of the councillors, some of them councillors, they yes. have their near and dear ones, they are being hired by the city of Brampton. Is that a correct practice, that instead of giving jobs of the city jobs to the residents, they hire their own people? What do you say about that?
Well, I am opposed to nepotism in all of its various forms. So at the end of the day, when you get to the level of the city council, your job is to represent the city as a whole, not just your friends and your family. People.
So you condemn nepotism?
I condemn that.
Okay, I'll move to the next question. If I ask you, the residents, they talk about that windrow issue during the window time, the snow plowing. City is not doing that properly, and many times yes. the councillors, present councillors, they are busy in the provincial issues. Hospital and insurance, auto insurance, that is into control of the province government. And we are busy into those discussions. We are not concerned about development in the Brampton, infrastructure, yes. the parks. We have seen the downtown of Brampton for last 20 years. We have seen no change. It's the same as it is. Now yes. some renovation is going on. The federal government gave a fund just to renovate the Rose Theatre roof. So why can't we make Brampton downtown same as the Mississauga downtown, or downtown comparison to other places? What are your views on that?
So I agree with you that the the downtown core certainly needs some revitalization and improvements. Even driving through the area, the roads need to be widened, but I understand the need to work with the federal government on certain issues. I mean, if we need additional funding and so on, then we will need to tackle that with the federal government.
So if federal say that we are giving the funding, it's not been utilized.
Okay, so if that's the case, then it's back to council, and I'm one of the persons that will be utilizing those funds for the benefit of Brampton. I agree with you when you say that, for instance, you call it the windrow
Yes.
issues that happens with the snow plowing, because I am personally affected by that, being a resident of Brampton. Brampton needs a lot of work.
Okay.
It needs a lot of work, and I am willing to put in the work that's needed to get Brampton
I'll
to where it
move to
needs
the
to
next
be.
one. What do you think? Is there any corruption in City Hall? Do you think, being a resident, what you saw in last 4 years, do you think corruption, or those are all false allegations?
At this point, I'm from the outside looking in, and from the outside looking in, it's looking like there is corruption.
Okay, there is a corruption.
Because, and then I did some research on it as well, and I was able to determine that, for instance, there was a removal of financial oversight, of oversight of the financial services in Brampton, and then that was what led to Brampton moving from a AAA credit rating, to being millions of dollars in debt, and also having some problems with covering their debt. So, that if you're removing oversight from financial systems, then that could be because you are intending to
So being
use
a
those
resident of Brampton, you saw there is a corruption in the City Hall.
It certainly appeared that way, yes. That's what I saw.
So what you will do if you are elected, what you will do in terms of corruption?
One of the things that I will do is that I will be putting back, I will be voting to put back that type of oversight where individual persons are not going to be able to just take the city's money and their resources and do with as they please. There should be a process where, these things are approved, and where we will be able to get, people to come in and, audit things that have been done and so on.
So there were investigations going on, but every investigation has been stopped.
Well, that's.
Do you know that? Are you aware?
So yes, I'm aware that there were investigations. I was not aware that they were all stopped. But that in itself makes things look more suspicious, that you would not allow the investigations to continue.
How much marks out of 10 you will give to the performance of this present City Council? Out of 10, how much marks you give them?
Okay, if the passing mark is 6, I would give them a 3. At this point,
okay.
Because
so 3 means out of 10 you give present council 3, so means they are failed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is your last message to the resident of Brampton?
My last message to the residents of Brampton is this. My intention, if I'm elected, and I hope that you will elect me, Cleopatra Gooden-Simms, as your next Brampton City Councillor for Wards 3 and 4, I will be doing several things, including crime reduction, poverty alleviation. I'll be working on the transportation systems. I'll be dealing with enforcement matters. All these matters are on my website, www.cleopatragoodensimms.com, and there are others that are there as well. I'll be making sure that our seniors are taken care of. I'll be ensuring that there are more jobs available for the city of Brampton and the people who reside here. And also I'll be ensuring that, once a vote for me is a vote for trustworthiness, a vote for honesty, a vote for competence, a vote for efficiency, a vote for getting the job done. And I will not be sidetracked by any infighting or any interpersonal issues. My focus will be on making improvements for the city that I live in and my family lives in and that I love. So vote for Cleopatra Gooden-Simms as your next Brampton City Councillor for Wards 3 and 4.
Thank you, Cleopatra, and we wish you all the best for this fight.
Thank you very much as well.
Thank you. So, as against City Councillor the candidate Ward 3 and 4 to Cleopatra Gooden-Simms. सवाल है कि तुसी अपने कैंडिडेट दे बारे जरूर जानो, वोट जिन्हों मर्जी पाओ, वोट ऐस करके ना पाइए कि आज साडी कम्युनिटी दा आज साडा है अपना है, वोट ऐस करके पाइए, लेट्स बी कैनेडियन, लेट्स सी हु इज़ द बेस्ट कैंडिडेट फॉर अस, हु विल वर्क फॉर अस. जेड़ा इशू है असी प्रेजेंट काउंसिल दा तां किसी दे छुपिया नहीं, सब ने देखिया की हैपन होया की नहीं होया. सो जेड़ा वार्ड 3 and 4 है उहदे च जेफ बॉमन ऐतकी कैंडिडेट नहीं है. ऑल 6 सिटी काउंसलर आर न्यू कैंडिडेट्स. किनू पाना है? हर कैंडिडेट जब डोर नॉकिंग ते आंदा सवाल पुछो, आप ही रिव्यू करो, जिन्हों अच्छा लगता वोट पाओ, लेकिन एडवांस वोटिंग च वोट पाना ना भुल्लो। 24 अक्टूबर इज़ द लास्ट डेट फॉर वोटिंग। एडवांस वोटिंग स्टार्ट फ्रॉम अक्टूबर 7। तुसी होम प्रॉक्सी के जरिए भी वोट पा सकते हो, और तुसी अगर आउट ऑफ कंट्री हो तुसी प्रॉक्सी वोट भी पा सकते हो। अगर थानू होम सर्विस चाहिए तुसी तद भी ब्रैम्पटन च वोट पा सकते हो। सारी जानकारी सिटी ऑफ ब्रैम्पटन की वैबसाइट तो लै सकते हो। उम्मीद है प्रोग्राम अच्छा लगा होगा। फिर किसी गैस्ट के नाल, इलैक्शन गैस्ट के नाल थोड़े रूबरू जल्द होवांगे। देखते रहो प्राइम एशिया, थोड़ा अपना थोड़े लिए।